Good morning, Portland!
Good morning, Portland. Week 130, Justice for Qadira, and we're going to go ahead and praise Jesus that we are back again. Again, next week on Thursday, we were criminally cited again for doing nothing in Multnomah Village a couple weeks ago, so we will have to go back down to the court. And like I said, we never know when Pontius and his crew are going to show up, but they always could because they do want us swept off the streets, like they want to sweep a lot of people off the street. It's very frustrating to see what is happening globally. I just saw that the Czech president is now calling for, all Russians in Europe to be put in internment camps. He actually invoked Japanese internment camps, which, I don't know, people always want to be throwing people away. They want to put people in concentration camps. They want people aborted. They want people gone. This is not a good attitude, and we definitely need to turn it around. I just want to keep reminding people this is a consciousness, not just a planet.
It's a collective consciousness.
The way we treat each other, the way we feel about each other, our actions towards each other, it all matters.
That's what is creating our reality, folks.
Exactly. I want to talk about what happened yesterday. I guess the Senate walkout ended, and they're going to move forward with allowing, what I can only call child experimentation up at OHSU. I want to remind people why me and my husband are down here. Our daughter was the victim of abuse, neglect, and child exploitation and child experimentation by her doctors up at OHSU because she wasn't treated for a mortal wound. They essentially just watched her body kind of eat itself and kind of restabilize itself. They did nothing after she was burned. I mean, we were just told to take her home. So my concerns, especially about OHSU being a research hospital, and now essentially what they will have is access to state funds to do whatever they want to, whatever child they want to. And I understand a lot of people want this to be the case. They want kids to be able to access what is being referred to as gender affirming care. I'm very firm on my stance that there needs to be an age of consent just on this planet, but in this city, everywhere, really, because kids are being drugged into all types of adult activities that they should not be involved with. And it's sad because we should be doing everything we can to make sure that, the first 18 years of somebody's life, they're not having to experience things that their brain can't even understand. So I feel bad. I feel bad for people who, are even fighting for this to be the case because I don't think the parents understand and I don't think the kids understand. After what happened to our daughter, OHSU didn't treat her, they didn't help her, they didn't do anything for her, they didn't help our family. There was absolutely no recourse. So if they harm your child, if you go up to OHSU and you're accessing this, gender affirming care and your child is mutilated or harmed, or your child feels that way, you feel that way, there will be absolutely no recourse. And I'm pretty sure I believe that's written into the bill, but even if it wasn't, when our daughter was abused and neglected, it wasn't just the people who burned her who abused and neglected her. The hospital abused and neglected her. And now nobody has ever taken any responsibility. And in fact, I can't even get a single representative to ask the hospital what in the hell they thought they were doing. So we have a really serious problem with adults exploiting children on this planet. And why do they do it? They do it for money. And something that I don't hear in conversations in the media is how, the use of money affects every decision, that people are making. And I think it's very disingenuous to pretend that things are not marketed to children to get their parents to buy it, and it's all in an effort for these companies to make money, which is why it's so important to have an age of consent because, buying something as an adult and buying something as a child, that is two completely different things. I mean, that's why there's age restrictions on alcohol, you know, age restrictions on driving, things like that. And I'm a fan of that, simply because I think a person needs to grow up and their brain needs to be functioning before they make certain decisions in life. It's not that they can't make these decisions. It's that we want to make sure as people, you know, become adults and start making decisions that they
for themselves,
that they can understand them. They can understand the benefits and the risks and all
the consequences.
And it's very hard, I'm sorry, to have perspective as a young person. So as things are happening to you, it's very difficult for you to imagine, you know, sometimes it's difficult for you to imagine what tomorrow looks like, but 10 years, 20 years.
That's even hard for adults, but
absolutely.
For children it's even harder because their brains aren't fully formed.
So, I mean, I think it's sad, but this is a road that we're going to go down because we don't really have there's no way to hold our public officials accountable, and that's something that we've been learning. The only way I think eventually we're going to be holding people accountable is we're going to have to sit here and experience the consequences. So I feel my heart goes out to anybody who is going to experience this consequence, especially the young people, because I will tell you right now, they'll give you drugs and surgery, but they will also throw you out on the side of the road to die. No problem.
Yeah, they don't actually care about your health or well-being. You are plenty fine to languish on the side of the road, okay? And they will probably have you there and then sweep you up into a camp, okay, where you're not going to get any help either.
And we already know that the streets have flooded with fentanyl, so we know the camps will be flooded with fentanyl. Yesterday, I was just doing some research because I've been pushing this idea of adult foster care. You know, I wish more of the profits would come together and get this program going because they have access to so many funds. But, you know, in the adult foster care system, the base rate for an adult needing some assistance, that's a level 1. So maybe somebody coming out of recovery, you can walk, you can do things for yourself, but you need some guidance throughout the day. You know, the base rate is $1,932, so $1,932. If homeless people actually qualified for the adult foster care system, I think we'd see a lot less homelessness. In that system, if we had more adult foster care homes operating, first of all, if you have 5 residents, 5 Medicaid residents, and you're getting about $2,000 a month for them, you know, you're making about 10 grand a month, so you can pay your mortgage, buy food, all of that. And that's what foster care provides is, you know, you're going to get a locked room, you're going to get internet, you're going to get a bathroom, you're going to get meals, you're going to get 24-hour care. That's what's being provided in these homes. Now, why most people do not qualify for this service, you'd have to ask your government that. But as somebody who has worked in adult foster care like pretty much my whole life, it's very, very confusing to me because it is actually the cheaper option. Yesterday I did some math. If you were to take 6,000 people off the street today and offer them a private room with the services I just described, that would cost about $130 million a year, okay? So it's about $23,000 per person who you're allowing into the program, give or take. And, you know, in that model, the person's going to get a care plan. They're going to get a private room. They're going to get help with the activities of daily living, whatever they need. They're going to get meals. They're going to get companionship, you know, all the things that an actual adult foster care home can offer. But our government doesn't want that because it's really difficult to steal out of that system because the funds are actually tied directly to the client. So if a homeless person were to qualify for this service and the state is overseeing the home, they're going to make sure that the person is being fed and has accommodation and this and that because that is what the adult foster care providers are expected to do now. That's what they're actually expected to do now. And a lot of people don't even know this service exists because it is only extended to very, very, very few poor people. I really don't know what the threshold is. It would seem to me that anybody who is disabled or addicted should automatically qualify because this is where people coming out of recovery salary should be going into these home-like settings where they're getting, some real care, companionship, and actually a place to be. So I feel very passionate about this because I'm so disgusted at the idea of these concentration camps. And this idea is just growing throughout the world. I mean, listening to the Czech president saying that they should just round up all the Russians and throw them in camps. We really cannot afford to go down this road. I think we're going to go down this road because we're so tied into the monetary system. We're just doing what the wealthy people want us to do, not necessarily because it's even the direction we want to be going in, but they have control of the media. And that's one of the reasons I really love being a part of Justice for Qadira, because I think one of the things that me and my husband are really helping to uncover here for the citizens of Portland is the fact that we don't have a media here in Portland.
It's not free, it's not fair.
We don't have a free, fair media. Even the medias that say they're alternative, I mean, take a paper like Street Roots. They're not allowed to cover this protest because me and my husband have dealt with the leadership on a very intimate level, so they don't really want to talk about what their real agenda is, which is harming people. And that ultimately should be the concern of all of us, whether, every single citizen, because if you have a government that's actually trying to harm people, then you don't have a government, right? You have tyranny. And so everything is kind of set up to look like it's supposed to be helping you, when in fact it's harming you.
It's doing the actual opposite, folks.
Then they don't really want you to have the means to be okay. And that's something that, I just watched a program on KATU, and they were talking about how many transgender people end up homeless. And I'm thinking, okay, you're going to give these people all this life-changing medication and surgeries and all this stuff, and then you're not going to give them a place to lay their head? Everybody should have a place to lay their head. And actually, the adult foster care system, if more people were incentivized to open up these homes, if there were more grants, you would actually see home ownership go up, because people could, it's kind of like co-living. Yes, if somebody, qualifies for the service, you're getting about $1,900 a month or $2,000 a month to give them full service. But, when somebody's getting full services and they have a place to lay their head and they're getting meals and they're being cared for and they're in that, caring, loving family environment, I'm completely against institutions and shelters and camps and all this crap. None of that works. Then they can actually get on their feet and they can phase themselves out of the system and make room for somebody else who needs to be in the system.
And they can actually start supporting the system. But see, the people in power, my wife and I like to refer to them as the money worshipers. Okay, these are the people that are running your governments. I'm not saying it's your governments particularly, but the people that are in charge of the government. Okay, they're over the government. Okay, these people, they don't want us here. The writing's all over the walls. Okay, we should be able to wake up, folks. They don't want an accountable system like adult foster care. Okay, it's way too accountable. There's no fiscal. There can't be any fiscal hanky-panky in a system where the funds are directly tied to a person.
Also, if you have one home where things are going wrong, so you've got 5 people maybe living under a provider who's not doing their job, that's way different than a camp full of people who are being abused by like a big company, which is what we're going to have here in Portland. We're going to have Urban Alchemy come in, and we already know that Urban Alchemy is being sued for hurting people. And they're being sued for hurting people because we know from the Stanford prison experiment, these big, and we just know from history, although we're always trying to erase our history, these big institutions, they don't work in terms of caring for people because people get lost in the fray. It's the same way like a big classroom doesn't work for kids because, people get lost in that model. We need smaller units caring for, smaller smaller units caring for
individuals.
You know, so because people are individuals and they all need different things. The reason I also like the idea of really moving forward and creating an adult foster care system is because it's not just the homeless people that need help. It's also, you know, we have a huge elderly population. We have baby boomers that are retiring every day. I mean, caregiving jobs are a dime a dozen right now. If you want to be a caregiver, there's a job for you. It's not going to pay you very much. You're going to get treated like absolute crap by people. People are not going to thank you. People are not going to treat you with any kind of respect. It doesn't come with the medals and prestige of a CEO or even somebody in the military, but it is absolutely, number one, the most important job on earth, to be caring for people. It's really interesting, you know, you have the elites like King Charles, Noah Yuval Harari, Klaus Schwab. They're going to come save the planet, right? They're going to save the life on the planet. But they don't care about the life because they don't even care about the people. They think the people are ruining the life on the planet, which makes absolutely no sense.
No, because the people are the life on the planet,
exactly.
folks.
I mean, we are part of that system.
Part of the ecology that is going on this planet. We're part of the life.
So
we are not the problem. The way that we are running our system is, though, because our system isn't focused on caring for people.
They'll tell you that if you keep getting rid of people,
things are going to get better.
But actually, it's going to be the opposite, and we'll watch that unfold over the next few years.
10 years. By 2030, that's when they plan to have this all done.
Whatever they're doing, yeah, I mean, and their plan is to basically get the population down to something manageable. And you can see their strategy, which is we're not going to talk about the life mattering. We're not going to talk about people mattering. The only thing they're saving right now is money. And they're also trying to make money, hand over fist. And
they're doing it. They're getting it done, folks.
And it's sad because, you know, individuals are easily caught up in this because it's kind of just what everybody is doing. You know, get some money, get yours, don't worry about anything else. But as the world burns, this is not a good strategy. And we're in some really, really critical times right now. We move towards this concentration camp model. We're going to see some really horrific stuff here in Portland. Or we won't see it because it'll be swept up and
it'll be suppressed by the media. You won't hear about it, but it will be going on.
And we'll still be losing people.
It's just like my wife and I. This horrible thing happened to our daughter, and nobody here knows about it.
It's sad, too, because we can't even get, like I said, a public official to go up there and question the hospital and say, why did you do this? Because, you know, it's important to remember, yes, there were the specific abusers who molested and burned our daughter, but then there were doctors who lied to us to our face. And I mean to our face. I can't believe this type of evil. But just
for
like,
years.
Oh, there's nothing wrong. She's fine. And then it's like, that
they
is
were
not...
gaslighting us.
That's not what the medical records show. And that's why they don't want to talk about this, because they don't want to talk about, yeah, we actually did exploit an experiment on this child and cause her chronic injuries for the rest of her life that they refuse to take responsibility for. They don't think they have to because me and my husband don't matter. You know what I'm saying? We're just down here. We're voices that don't matter. And that's the sad thing about humanity is humanity will literally snuff out any voice that's trying to make any sense so people can actually get along and live their lives.
Well, currently, in the current global culture, that's what's going on.
Well, that's what happened in the past, too.
I mean, that's what has been happening. But that needs to change, and we can change that because we are sovereign, free will beings. We're hopefully intelligent, although that remains to be seen.
I think there's a lot of ways that we can solve a lot of the issues we're having, where we can save people and not just get rid of people. But the animosity that I see growing, you know,
towards
especially
people,
from housed people who hate unhoused people, even housed people who live in squalor. And I've been talking about this. People will go on and on about people who are houseless, who live in a tent, who are doing drugs or whatever. Well, there's a lot of that going on in our housed community. And our public officials, nobody wants to address the depression and
the mental
the
illness
and the mental illness that has invaded all facets of our society. You know, what we see with the homeless issue is that it's just a visible manifestation of what is going on in our consciousness. People are more and more miserable. People are losing the will to live. So we've lost a couple of young people in our life just in the last couple of years that have lost the will to live. And they had homes, and they came from families that had good money and things like that. They were given trips. They went to good schools. They had all of that. And guess what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. People need to feel like they're a part of something. And
people need to feel like they're cared for.
And they also need to feel like they are what is valuable, what matters here. And we're not doing a good enough job
of expressing that or conveying that, especially to the young people.
Exactly. The young people don't even know why they're here. I'll tell you why you're here. You're here to help take care of all the life. And when you're feeling really broken and sad, like, that's the one thing we would like you to hang on to, because your presence right now really, really matters. I know it feels like it doesn't, but this world is about to go through something that is so incredibly hard. If you are willing to stand up and soldier on and be here for it, we need you. We need you on our team, for sure. Because there's a great evil that's coming.
That's here.
Already a great
Folks, it's
evil
here.
that's here. They're not gonna,
and it's spreading out.
They're not going to tell you that you matter, because they want to sell you everything under the sun, because the more they can rip away your value, the more they can sell it back to you. And that's what you need to be careful about. And this is why I'm very firm on my stance with age of consent, because we do need to let people grow up and develop a little bit, because there's a lot of predatory adults out there, unfortunately. People are not changing their hearts, okay? They're becoming more greedy, more soulless, more godless. They don't care.
More faithless.
Oh, we're going to save the planet for ourselves. That is literally, that's the mantra of the World Economic Forum. I've listened to their prophet, the elite's prophet. His name is Noah Yuval Harari. He says people are for nothing. That's what he said. People are hackable animals. If you look him up on YouTube, he says that all the useless people should just be plugged into machines and given drugs. So this guy, he's actually, he's running things on the planet. You just don't know it. And so that attitude is expanding everywhere in our media. Very sad. What's that? Okay. What is that? Okay. Okay. I'll look it up.
Free my ex-husband.
We'll look it up.
Okay.
We know nobody's gonna listen. It's sad though, because
I'm not sure. We have to look into it.
yeah, we'll have to look into it. It's sad that people aren't going to listen to any of this, because their faith is with their leaders. But
their faith.
Well, it's with the money.
Yeah, the faith is with the money. Unfortunately, that's what people believe in. People have stopped believing in God. People believe in money, and that's a mistake.
Well,
Okay?
even the people that say they believe in God, they're believing in the money
I
too.
think that they stop believing in God and they believe in
We
the
have
money.
a really, you know, when
They
I
just say they believe in God so that they can make money.
I look at the world's religions, and it's funny because we have a huge church community here in Portland. We have mosques, we have synagogues, we have priests, rabbis, all these people. I haven't heard from not a one of them, so I don't really know.
Just a few of them have been down here to kind of visit with us. Preacher Richie.
Well, from what church?
No, he didn't.
No, yeah, I don't know if he's from a church.
No,
so.
I think he is though.
But a specific church.
I don't know.
My point is, we're not hearing from the religious community, so for us, when we look at like the direction of Portland and where we've ended up, well, in 2007, they pretty much decreed it's okay to play naked games with kids, burn them with tea kettles. This is their thought process.
Yeah, they want to do whatever they want to kids with
no accountability.
Yeah, without accountability.
And that's the only thing I would say to people in the community who think that, it's okay to have kids consenting to whatever when it comes to medical interventions, because I'm telling you right now, the doctors will do it for the money. They will do it for the money. And right now, OHSU, there's so much money pouring into OHSU. That's the reason why we could not even sue OHSU. They wouldn't even entertain. We couldn't even have a conversation with OHSU for not treating our daughter and lying to us, because they are a research hospital, so they experiment on whoever they want. And they get state dollars to get that done. So yesterday, of course, now they're going to get, a plethora of state dollars to experiment, what I call child experimentation, because I don't think children can consent.
And I don't think that they know exactly what's going to happen to kids if they are constantly giving them all kinds of different kinds of medication.
I don't think any of this is, it's been thought through. They don't really care what happens to the person in the end, because they can just discard them into a camp, really.
Yeah, they can just throw them out on the side of the road and watch them die. They're not going to help them.
Right. If somebody is not happy with the services they receive, and that's in a lot of industries, they'll just throw you out to the side of the road. Nobody's accountable. Nobody cares. It's a really poor attitude. People talk about how, things are better in heaven because we don't behave this way in heaven. Well, there's no money. So we don't, once you step outside of this consciousness, we're not dealing with the money anymore. So we're completely focused on taking care of people. So, yes, you're going to feel a lot more love on that side, because there isn't this
focus.
There isn't this focus. And right here, we could start changing the focus, but people have to actually do the work. I would love to see I am the value shirts everywhere, but people don't want that. So I don't know how to change that perception of people mattering unless people actually want to do the work to make that happen. I think a lot of people have already bought into the idea, though, that people don't matter and need to be gotten rid of, which I'm telling you right now, that ideology will lead you to nothing but suffering.
Folks, that's a mistake.
It's just going to lead you to suffering.
Thinking this way, we can't continue thinking this way. It's going to eradicate our race of beings. And the people in power, that's what they want. Folks, if you haven't looked into it, what these people want is they want AI to take over the planet, and they want to start forming humanoid or human-like things in labs and then implanting their AI into it, okay, so that people, actual human people, real human people, no longer exist.
They really do feel like Noah Yuval Harari, he really feels that there's a flaw in creation, which is people are not completely controllable all the time. And so, since people are not completely controllable all the time, since God gave us free will, actually Noah said, free will is over. So, as in the days of Noah, we're here, right? And Noah is actually here. And he is a very influential figure, whether you know about him or not. He's literally the prophet of the elites. And his feelings towards humanity is we've got to go, because we've proven ourselves to not be useful here in the world. So a whole new creation needs to be built.
Never mind that it has taken hundreds of millions, billions of people to create civilization to this point.
Exactly. How did we get civilization if people are not what is valuable? How was civilization built? It's pretty arrogant to have gotten to this technological world and then to be having this tiny group of people saying, well, the rest of you can just get on down the road and you're not welcome here. We'll take all the spoils and enjoy it for ourselves in our big empty homes, on our big empty land masses. These people are going to end up miserable, but they're also going to destroy, everything that's beautiful about this creation because they're miserable. You know, we're talking about a miserable, godless group of people deciding that nothing here matters except for money and controlling people. And this idea that this planet is finite and going away,
that couldn't be farther from the truth,
the thing
folks.
is Noah says, if you listen to Noah, he says the bigger the lie, the better. Because when you tell a huge lie, people don't believe that it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't believe that you would say something that outrageous, so you just have to believe it. So, I don't subscribe to this whole idea that the planet's dying, we have to get rid of people, we all have to eat bugs, we all have to go live underground. They're building underground communities in LA. Something is wrong with these wealthy elites. They have a condition called hoarding. It's the same mental health condition you see on the show Hoarders. It just looks different when a billionaire does it.
With money.
But it's the same thing. They're still very, very, very sick, and there has to be some acknowledgement of that. So we don't let these people pull us down into their hole, their literal hole. You know, their plan is to just treat the earth however and go hide while they kind of, get rid of the washed and the unclean. It's
undesirable.
The undesirable that they don't want to see anymore.
There are not too many people on the planet. There are too many people not being properly cared for on the planet. And that's something that we can do. That's an actual goal that we can attain. If we focus on caring for people, okay, we can make that mark. We can hit that mark, okay? But if our focus is just making money, we're never ever going to be able to properly care for people. And in fact, we will be getting rid of them. Like what is happening right now.
You know, it's interesting because I can't even get any engagement on this adult foster care idea when, just turn on your brain here. If all these little nonprofits would take all their millions of dollars and actually buy homes and then become the staff in these care homes, then they could at least be offering people experiencing homelessness a room right out the gate. A private room with a lock, with meals, with care staff, things that people need to get back on their feet when they're experiencing homelessness. But we can't even get any engagement because it's much easier for the government to steal when you've got, 100 different nonprofits and you're giving $1 million here and $1 million here and $1 million here and $1 million here. And then they're just giving the homeless people stuff, and maybe some food and services and some things, but they have nowhere to put anything. Nowhere to lay their head.
Yeah, you give them a tent and then you tell them they can't put it anywhere.
Exactly.
What the heck? Folks, the writing is on the wall. They do not want us here. I'm talking about human people.
Or if you feed somebody, you feed them a hot meal, but then you kick them back outside. I guess since I've been in this business, I've worked in this business for so long, it's just really, and no one has ever explained it to me. Like, why isn't somebody experiencing homelessness, why aren't these services available? If more people, if there was a little bit of funds tied to helping them, really helping them, then maybe they could get back on their feet. But the way it's set up so people will end up pretty much killing themselves. Some people pull themselves out of the hole, but you have to have an extreme set of coping skills to go from the street back into normal life on your very own. And congratulations if you've done that or can do that. But
that should not be the baseline, folks.
I know everybody's born with a different set of coping skills, and I don't like people to compare that. Like me and my husband, we fought through this. This was a really difficult situation with our daughter, with my husband when he was blacklisted and fired from Nike. We've been through some pretty terrible things, but we're up here talking because we don't want to leave anybody behind. We know that there are people who have been through horrible things that they can't get up and speak. They're voiceless. They've been beaten down. And, we were able to struggle through it, but that doesn't mean that the person that wasn't able to struggle through it doesn't matter. So we need to be reaching back for one another. We really can turn earth more into a heaven when we switch the focus. The focus is too heavy on the money, and we have to talk about that because we can't simply just keep selling things to one another, you know, that are harmful and crappy, and that includes ideologies, you know what I'm saying, that are hurting people, and then take no responsibility, you know, knowing that it's all about the money. I mean, look at BLM. That was all about the money. All about the money, and they ran off with the money, and nobody
That didn't help race
help.
relations on this planet.
No.
It didn't help the position of black people in this country. Desegregation didn't even do that, folks, because it wasn't about caring for people. It was always about money. It still is about money.
They will throw you away. It's really funny. I keep hearing from our leaders, oh, we want to do this because we care, and we want to do that because we care.
They're lying to
Yeah,
you.
but look at how many miserable people there are. When do we start talking about the fact that our system truly does not work? All we have is a bunch of people in power who are trying to get money from themselves, and they set up, you know, this incredible system where they can thieve on a scale that is unimaginable. You know,
You can't even fathom it. How they are stealing from humanity.
The money just disappears. But I will tell you, like, if you're a provider of an adult foster care home, and I wish I could get a provider of an adult foster care home here to talk, one of your residents is dirty or sitting on the side of the road or hasn't been fed or doesn't have a locked room or isn't being treated like they matter, you're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with parents who aren't taking care of their kids. But the government, you know, every poor policy is acceptable. Like, it shouldn't even be acceptable for the Wheeler to say, oh, I'm going to throw everybody in a dirty camp. You know why? That's basically, that should be illegal. You know what I'm saying? Because it is, if the normal, regular citizen were to do it to their own child or somebody they're providing care for through the state, that's not really something you can actually do. So I don't know why it's acceptable when big government does it. It's never okay to treat somebody like they don't matter, because you are actually adding to the problem. The more you treat somebody like they don't exist and they don't matter, the more likely they are to turn to violence, become depressed, kill themselves, kill someone else.
Just become a problem, basically.
And that's very sad. What's going on? Oh, hey, how are you? So we have to start turning on our brains and thinking. I'll let you talk for a second.
Okay. About why it talks about how it enhances the way a person is asleep and reduces lateness checking. Okay, I want to check it out.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, just like his last 5, but the newest one, each one is getting better.
Okay.
How these babies break through. Dude, it's epic.
Okay, we'll check it out.
Thank you, sir.
We need to start personally turning on our brains. Also, I wanted to today, we brought a couple white t-shirts down, so my husband's going to stop for a minute, and he's going to make a homemade shirt, because I want to show people how easy this is. And when we talk about permeating the consciousness with something positive, this is actually something that's very cost effective, that's very simple, that everybody can do to help permeate the consciousness we live in now with something positive when it comes to people. Because we absolutely have to start treating people like they matter. I know this is a difficult concept, but what your leaders are modeling right now by ignoring me and my husband, by ignoring all these people laying on the road, we cannot follow them, okay? Because where they're going is a place where there's only misery and suffering, and we don't want that for people.
Folks, this is a plain white t-shirt, okay, but I'm going to give it some power here. I'm going to give it some power.
Okay, so my husband's going to make a shirt. This is really simple, and this is something you can do for yourself, for your kids. Arm them. Arm them. Give them their value
Folks,
when they
this
walk
is-
out the door.
this is-
because someone will try to take it.
This is the full armor of God right here. I'm
This
gonna tell
is
you
it.
that it's the truth.
This is it. And, we didn't patent this design. We don't go around selling these shirts because we don't want people to feel like they can't access this, because there's already so many things that people can't access because of the use of money. So we wanted to make this very, very simple so everybody can do it, because everybody is the value. You can always come home. Cool. You got kind of some... I knew it was going to be harder to do on the brick because of the lines. I was like, oh, we should do this at home. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it there. So he's making the shirt right now. The shirt's coming out a little weird because we're making it on the brick, but that's okay. It's don't work just as good. Another reason these shirts are very powerful is because your leaders don't like them. Okay, it very much upsets them. You see how they treat me and my husband. Okay, so as soon as the train leaves, everybody in the square can see it. But the camera, you could write. Well, yeah.
Folks, it's this simple. It's this simple. This is all you need, okay, to reclaim your sovereignty, okay? You are free will, sovereign free will. You have built-in authority, and it is your authority that these people are using, and they are using it against you.
Absolutely.
Okay? So it's time for you to reclaim that authority, reclaim that sovereignty. Just all you have to do is simple exercise. I am the value.
That's right.
That's it.
That's
And you can take a simple t-shirt, you can take a simple Sharpie, you can write it on the t-shirt, and you can reclaim your value, reclaim your authority. You can be the power once again.
And does this mean if you make a shirt that you're going to instantly get a pile of money and everything's going to be perfect? No.
No.
But as more people begin to do this,
As more people...
as we begin to see each other as what matters, then we can really begin to start focusing on cleaning up this mess, okay? And not just shoving things under the rug. Because right now we got a hot tea kettle under the rug. Now we're about to shove a bunch of people who need help under the rug. We're always shoving things under the rug. We need to start bringing things into the light so we can start healing people and healing this consciousness, so we can all begin to move forward together and have a much better experience here. Okay?
And that does not include getting rid of people.
No, and it
people
does not
belong here.
And it does not include what Noah says, which I would love to debate this guy, but he gets to hide behind all his cameras and his money. But I will tell you right now, no one is taking anybody's free will. Okay? Free will is not over. That's the whole deal here. This is a free will exercise.
But you can give it up if you want.
Which is why when you reach the age of consent, yes, there's going to be a lot of things you have access to in the adult world, a lot of decisions you can make, and those are for you to make as a free will being, okay?
And you deserve to make those decisions, folks. Okay? That is the power and authority that God, your creator, has given you. Okay? No, Yuval Harari, he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't want you to believe in God. He would say that's a myth.
Yes. Very simple. I would love to see my homeless community doing this, because you should do it.
Here,
you can have this
can
one,
have that
matter of
one.
fact. The thing is, when the camping ban goes into effect, that's your best protection. Of course not. No,
No, that's garbage.
No, that's
and
ridiculous.
we shouldn't even expect you to do that.
No, and if they can't do that, they should at least be offering you a room with a lock,
Yeah.
and
They
don't
can
offer
do
you
that for you.
nothing.
They
yes.
can do that,
And
but they won't.
the last place
'Cause they
you
don't
need to
care
be is
about
a
you.
tent. No. Yeah.
I'm in a tent right now, and I'm telling you.
It's
That's
fine.
not okay. No,
And they're not
folks.
offering you anything else.
Okay,
Yeah.
folks. Here's the thing.
Jail or a fine.
Right.
Right.
Folks, you,
We got to make some better ones. That one kind of came weird.
folks, you don't.
Brick, but it works.
The people in power do not care about you, okay? They don't care about you, and you don't have to listen to anyone that does not care about you.
Where's she supposed to go? They're not offering her anything except for a tent. See, and I can't even get them to engage. Like I've been talking about this whole foster thing. Like I can't even get anyone to engage on that. Why are some people available? Why some people get the service and some people can't? Why are people not being offered at least a place to live?
I wanted to let it, the area we're at, I wanted to let it to Texas.
I would like to see lots of people actually get a room.
Yes, that might be it, but try to move everybody from one spot to another, one spot to yeah, because all these gun shootings, back on the west side.
Glad the other day, heard gunshots. Like,
Because you're not even, how are you supposed to have any protection? I mean, we're trying to speak out against it, but this is one thing we think that people can do, the t-shirt exercise, simply because the authorities just don't like the t-shirt exercise.
No, they don't want people to be saying that they're what's valuable.
Right, that is something
and that is,
actually,
even though that's
it's
the
a
truth,
simple
it
exercise.
shouldn't be about money. It should always be about taking care of people. But that's not what we have going on here, and we've experienced that firsthand through all the public corruption at the hospitals, in the courtrooms, the police, the FBI. Like,
Do you
these
want
people-
to talk for a second about your situation? No?
I've been in and out of hospitals so many times, so anyone can ask me.
Okay. And you need some real help.
I have grandma seizures.
Okay. You need help. Yeah. So,
Folks.
you guys, I do want to see people out on the streets get help, and I'm hearing from people a lot about, what this camping ban is going to cause, especially since they're not offering any good alternatives besides sweeping people into a camp, and it's because people really have. You think there isn't already a label on people, but people have been labeled as what.
as garbage,
As
basically.
garbage, yeah.
They have labeled people, the people in power have labeled people as garbage, and so that they can throw them away at will. And people do not belong in the garbage. They're not garbage, okay? So until we start turning this understanding, this consciousness around, until we start actually being able to see each other as what is valuable, we're not going to be able to stop the suffering.
It's a very difficult concept, but I want to explain to everybody. You have to teach them now. And you may not be in a position where you feel like you can even teach them. But actually, if you're living on the street today, I'm sure you have a story to tell as to why you're there, how you got there. And you do need to be conveying back to the people in power that you are what is valuable. That's the first step. I'm not saying it's going to instantly solve anything because we have a lot of work to do right now
But it is going to take
to get people to matter, but we are going to need people to actually stand up for this cause because we need people to help us actually permeate the consciousness with this idea that people matter. So this is something that I feel like, our marginalized communities can do. It's inexpensive. But if just imagine you've got at least 6,000 homeless people people in the city walking around labeled as the value, that could actually change the conversation on these camps. Right now, you're all kind of invisible. So we need to be able to see you. As a matter of fact, if he makes another one, would you put a shirt on?
Yeah.
Okay, he'll make one more. This gentleman here has agreed to just put his shirt on really quick, and I want to show everybody what I mean, and then you can take it with you. Because we need to quickly turn the conversation around. And there's only one way I can see to quickly turn the conversation around. Will the media continue to ignore it if you've got thousands of people labeled as what is valuable? That's going to be harder for them to ignore and harder for the business community to ignore. They don't do anything for anybody. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. 4? Oh my God. They won't do nothing. They won't even offer you a room to lay your head.
No.
See, this is what I can't. I just can't.
But they'll give these fentanyl addicts a room before they give somebody that ain't no trouble.
They're not giving. See, they're not. It's a very unfair system. I don't understand why certain people. It's like a lottery.
This drug thing ain't helping.
No, the drug thing's not helping at all.
They flooded the streets with the drugs so that people would.
Right, so people don't look valuable, and we can't get them back. My husband's gonna make another shirt. Hi. What's up? Did you need something? No, just stopping. Okay.
I can be here.
No, you're good. No, I want you to be here. I just like making sure I wasn't ignoring you. 8 years. How old are you? 37. Wow. And very difficult to get services. I mean, I've had family members that have been off and on the streets that I've tried to help, that I have helped. And the one thing I know is if you've been on the streets, you need actual help. You can't just, how are you supposed to fix your life if you're living in a tent? It's almost impossible. So, okay, this guy's going to model the shirt. This is really easy. I would love to see more people doing this because what we're trying to do right now, I mean, obviously, me and my husband, we don't have any money, but what we can do is change the conversation. Can you come in the camera really quick? I just want
What's
the
your
people
name, sir?
who watch.
BJ.
So
Nice
this is
to meet you.
BJ, and he's modeling this shirt. I think this is a really great protest. If you have cops coming up to you, if you have police coming up to you, if you're labeled as what is valuable, it can help inform them as to how to treat you a little bit better. I'm not saying it's not a magic bullet because we need a lot of people doing this.
We need a critical mass of people to label themselves as what is valuable so that we can start understanding that people actually do matter and we should be caring for them.
Yeah, I can't think. This young woman here is telling us she's pregnant with quadruplets. So 4 babies in her tummy. She can't get any help, not even a place to lay her head. So
that's how the people in power.
Why are we treating people like this? Why is this couple being treated like this? They need help immediately. She's due in September. Is this how we treat the life on this planet? You know what I'm saying? Is this how we're going to treat the value? Because that's the conversation we need to be having.
Is this an acceptable way to be treating people?
Absolutely.
And we're saying no. We're saying absolutely not. We cannot treat, and these people, they are what is valuable. They are what is valuable. It's not money. It's not gold or silver. It's not digital currency. It's them. They are what is valuable.
Yeah, you can't say you want to save the planet, but you don't want to save any of the people. We are all interconnected, and our job here is to actually care for one another. So I really hope that this exercise takes off. We'll try to bring more white shirts when we can. I mean, because we're happy to give some away. But, I mean, this is also something that you can do on your own. It only requires a white T-shirt and a black Sharpie.
You don't even need a white T-shirt. It could be a T-shirt. You turn it inside out. Right on it, you need to be labeled.
And try to start this conversation. When you walk in and you're trying to get services, when the police are bothering you, et cetera, et cetera. That's what you need to be asking them. That's what you need to be telling them. I am the value. Is this how you treat the value? That's the type of conversation we need to start having with one another, because it's not something we're having. Our leadership is not helping us have this conversation, and that's why our world is just kind of
falling apart. It's falling apart, folks.
Because our main
right
job,
in front of our eyes.
Our main job is taking care of one another, listening to each other's stories, and responding in a way where we are helping and guiding one another. So that is something that we really, really, really need to start working on as a community. And I'm telling you, Portland, we can start something. I really appreciate you doing this.
BJ.
Thank you so much, BJ. And what's your name?
Diana. Nice to meet you, Diana.
We appreciate them stopping by, and I'm just really hoping that we can start moving this conversation, because many hands make light work, but many hands stealing, isn't helping.
Yeah,
and that's what we have with government right now.
That is creating the hell that we are seeing, that we are literally witnessing happen or being created right before our eyes. Okay? And we can turn that around. We can turn that around with one simple phrase. We need to take back our value. We need to take back our sovereignty. We need to take back our authority. You are the value. What does that mean? It means that you deserve everything that you need to be happy and healthy on this planet without exception. Without exception, there should not be one single obstruction or one single restriction keeping you from being properly cared for.
And we should be doing everything to help our women and children. I can't believe this young woman is out on the street with 4 babies in her tummy. This is not okay. And there are ways. There are plenty of resources. It's just people have become so greedy, so selfish, and we've become, culturally so enamored with people who live these really
extravagant, just actually ridiculous lives.
Right.
But that's not the goal for people, folks. That's not a healthy way to be for people. A healthy way for people to be is with each other, caring for each other. That's a healthy way. These people have separated themselves from the rest of the population. That's how unhealthy they are. And they need help too. They need just as much help as the people on the streets.
And
okay, because they're not well.
There's no reason why the people on the streets have not qualified for some kind of housing, whether you're single, family, whatever. There is a means to get it done, and we're just not doing it. I mean, all this money's going to war, all this money is going to all kinds of things that we don't need, and we're just completely, the priorities are so screwed up. As a parent, I've raised 4 kids, and never did I just say that, I'm not going to feed them or house them or do anything for them. I mean, I think a lot of parents are out there struggling to take care of their children. And you're kind of like the mini government for your kids, right? But you're not allowed to just throw your kid out on the corner. But for some reason, the leadership, we've allowed them to just be, they're not even leaders. They're not even leaders. I think every Oregon leader should step down in shame for what is happening here. For people being so broken down and laying in the road, pregnant women laying in the road. What is going on? We have to start acknowledging that the system doesn't work, because people say go vote, and what? They're all paid off, both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because they found a way to just siphon money out of people's pockets, and because they worship money, that's what they're basically trying to get all the time. It's just more and more money, even though they don't need anything.
And they don't care about people, folks. Like I said, you do not need to be listening to someone that does not care about you. They don't have your best interests at heart.
But we also need to armor up, soldier up,
stand up.
Stand up. I'm not saying that we can fix this. Me and my husband, one thing we don't do is we don't take donations. So we're not some kind of protest group that's going to take a bunch of donations and start facilitating all of this. I think that there's a lot of good people out there, especially with the homeless situation, where if you came together, you could be doing things differently, where you could be getting people housed. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to do it for you because I don't like the idea of dealing with money. Every time I see groups start taking in money,
that's really when you start to see their downfall.
Right, and we don't even want to go anywhere near that.
We don't want to open that door because, folks, we need for people to be taking care of people because people matter, not because they have money.
Right. The whole collection plate philosophy, this is why I stopped going to church. It makes me very uncomfortable. When I'm in a church and they start passing that thing around, I know it's time for me to go. So I stopped going to church years ago because of that, and it's not because I don't believe in God. It's just because what they're doing in the churches and stuff right now is weird. They're worshiping money. You may not even know that they're getting you to do that, but that's actually the mindset they're putting you in. There's no way you can pay to go to heaven, okay? It's a state of being, really. Are you feeling grateful? Are you happy? Are you joyful? I mean, those are the real markers in terms of finding salvation, so to speak. You know, and we're not really helping people do that by telling them that, you know, just go make some money and buy some stuff, get some pills, get some surgery, get some this, get some that. That's going to make you happy. None of those things are going to make you happy. Okay?
Folks, you are only happy when you are being truly loved and cared for. Okay? When you are getting genuine, proper care, when people are genuinely loving you and you are able to freely love. That is when people are the most real. That is when they feel the best. Okay?
And life is already so difficult. I mean, being in the physical realm is a very difficult exercise. That is why our job is to help one another. Because sometimes people, you know, maybe they lose somebody close to them. Maybe they have a chronic illness. Somebody who's experiencing addiction. All of the things that can happen here in the physical realm. What really matters is how the people around you respond. Because that's really going to inform whether you choose to stay or whether you want to be here. And somebody, you know, deciding to, you know, check out, you know, using fentanyl, drugs, or even committing suicide, you know, it's because they're not feeling valued and loved where they are. And we all have the ability to turn that around here in this consciousness. Because again, this is a consciousness.
It's a collective consciousness, and if we are promoting love, that is the reality that we will create here. But the hate, the violence, that not caring for people, that is what is creating the hell here on this planet. And we are doing that. We are a part of that. We are doing that with our own individual free will. We are giving in to these entities that don't even want us here.
Exactly.
But we belong here.
We
every single one of you belongs here.
What happens with this consciousness is on all of us now. Are we going to take back our value? Are we going to be grateful that God gifted us this beautiful planet to exist on? And are we going to make it a beautiful place where people are welcomed and treated like they matter, where they're welcomed into a life experience that is, you know, primarily beautiful and good? Or are we going to create this hell? Is that what, are we going to allow the money worshipers, you know, to just kind of take over? Because that's a choice too. You know, I mean, it's up to us where we go now.
And it's up to each one of us. Okay? You are a sovereign, free will being with built-in authority. You have the ability to affect this collective reality. That is your power. That is the authority that you have been given by God.
I want to say something too. You know, me and my husband have been doing the t-shirt exercise for over 10 years now. So I just want everybody to know that it is safe and effective. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, and I'm not saying that it's made everything easy. I mean, we have definitely struggled, but when you label yourself as what matters, when you remind yourself on a daily basis that you are what is valuable, that you do matter more than money. My shirt today says I am a living being and I matter not money. It really is a very grounding force because, you know, as things happen in your life, you know, I think that people are left with just feeling like, you know, nobody cares. And the only thing that matters is you just go make some money and kind of get through your life as fast as you can. That's not the kind of experience we want people having here. We want people to actually be enjoying their time in the physical realm. And that can be a reality.
Folks, we're going to keep on coming out here. We're here every single Friday from 10:30 to about noon, okay? We do what we can, but we're not going to be able to change the world on our own, folks.
We need help.
We need everyone's help. We need everybody
to see more people doing this.
To chip in on this exercise of making people actually genuinely matter. Because you are the value.
Here's the deal about being the value, too. When you're walking around in a shirt that says, I am the value, just go about your day. We're not trying to spy on you. We're not trying to, you know, see what you're up to or anything. What we're trying to do is help permeate the consciousness that we're living in here, all living here, in here with something positive. Oh, do you want to tell it?
You can tell it. You want to talk? You don't want to talk? I mean, sure. Okay, you guys. What's your name? Rudy. Rudy. Nice to meet you. I'm Renee. This is my wife, Corella.
Hi.
Rudy has a story he wants to tell everybody here. We're going to let him do that.
Hi, yes, my name's Rudy. I've lived in Portland for about 12 years now. I'm originally from California. I shop in these districts quite often, and today I was in Nike Town, and I was in the dressing room. Sorry.
That's okay. You're okay. You're okay. Take your time. Take your time. You're good.
And I was on the phone with Cash App trying to get my money situated and figured out. And the manager proceeds to stand outside the door and basically harass me, knock on the door. Are you done in there? How's everything going? And I've gained some weight, so I'm trying to figure out my right sizes. Man.
It's okay.
And then my backpack was outside the door. He proceeds to move my backpack without my knowledge, without my permission, touches my personal belongings, and moves it 6 feet to the other side. And then he proceeds to tell me that there's a camera in there, so it saw him take it saw what happened. There's no camera. If there's a camera in the fitting room, that's a lawsuit. So I come out the dressing room. I said, after it, I just got off the phone with Cash App to figure out everything that was going on. He says, sir, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. And I said, for what? He's like, just because it's just, we'd like you to leave. You're making me uncomfortable. And I said, uncomfortable how? Because you touched my personal belongings and I'm upset about it? Mm-hmm. Because I didn't see what you did with my backpack? Mm-hmm. I don't know what you took out of there. And the security guard's like, oh, everybody trusts him around here. I don't care how many people trust him.
Right.
I don't know him.
Right.
And he touched my backpack, moved it 6 feet without my knowledge. Mm-hmm. And so it just really, really made me upset. And I was like, I just got off the phone with Cash App to spend money with him so that I could buy my new shoes, buy my new clothes. And they asked me to leave because I was being aggressive. Wow. I said, me being upset is being aggressive?
Wow.
Or is it because after they touched my stuff and then proceeded to like escort me out of the store, then the manager was there. He's like, yeah, they're coming down with him right now. So it embarrassed me.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just... Yeah.
You know, I want to say in regards to what he's saying, thank you for sharing. You know, when we're seeing the homeless people being swept up, we have to remember that as the elites take more and more control, they'll just throw whoever out of wherever.
And they don't care about you. Obviously, they didn't care about Rudy here.
They're going to keep... Okay, I can't hear her.
No, she said don't stick up for the people at the shelter. They shot somebody.
I'm not homeless. I have my own apartment.
No.
No.
No. She was. We talk about
what's going on the streets here. And we do appreciate you sharing
yes,
your story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
It's not cool.
I got it on report. I reported the security guard, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't really say it about the camera, but
Yeah.
you should have moved the guy if he wasn't in there." He said that.
No, I
The security guard pulled me out and said, "Hey, look, man, it happens all the time." Certain people.
No, I
So,
get it. No,
you know, I get
I used to
that.
work at Nike, actually, at the world headquarters, and I was discriminated against. They threw me out after some white guy tried to dry hump me, and I complained about it, and they threw me out.
Right.
He got a raise and a promotion.
Right.
So
Nike is
feel-
a very racist company.
No, it's a very racist company, and you know what? It's not cool.
You know, it's interesting about Nike because, you know, they say that they're not a racist company, but they're a very racist company because, I mean, look how they treat their employees overseas. Enough said.
Look how they treat
Okay, enough said.
Look how they treat their customers.
You know, and then on top of it, you know, look how they treat their customers, their employees. I mean, after the way my husband was treated at Nike, I mean, these big corporations, they haven't done America any favors. I mean, really, the small business model is such a superior model to all these big corporations. I just think they're terrible places. I mean, they're like little governments that lord over people. Thank you. So, I know, we're going to shut it down. So we're going to shut it down. I just did want to say one more thing, though. I just want to testify again about the T-shirt experiment one more time. Again, me and my husband have done this for over 10 years. Our son did it with us for about 7 years until the pandemic. He doesn't do it every day now. He does it off and on, and so does a couple of our kids. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. This is a very safe, effective exercise in terms of getting somebody to treat you like you're a human. You know, I think it yes, it helps, and it'll help you treat you like you matter. I've really, I feel like, overcome a lot in the last 10 years as I've soldiered on with the T-shirt exercise. So we'll be back next week, Portland. We are actually down here to spread positivity. We want to turn this conversation around. We're hoping eventually one day to have a free and fair media again. I don't know if that will happen. Maybe not. But it is the hope. It is the hope.
Folks, we're going to leave you with this because it's the truth, first of all. And second of all, you need to hear it. Okay, so here it goes. I am the value.
I am the value.
You are the value.
You are the value.
We are the value.
We are the value. That is the exercise.
We're not talking about money. We're not talking about gold or silver. We are not talking about digital currency. We are talking about you, your life. You are actually, literally, what matters.
And I want to say something, because this lady was saying, you know, you shouldn't stand up for the homeless because maybe they shot somebody or hurt somebody or this or that. We know there's a lot of people that have gone completely astray on this planet. You can't lock everybody up. We need people to change their hearts. So if you're out there doing wrong, if you're hurting people,
please stop.
You can change today.
You can change
today.
Just remember, folks, God already loves you. God has already forgiven you. You just need to be able to forgive yourself.
And that's really the struggle, because when you're treating people terribly, you may never be able to do that. And that's the real horror and the real pain and the real hell that you can end up in. So we're going to say it again, and then we'll be back next week. And, well, hopefully we'll be back next week. Like I said, we've got a court date on Thursday for peacefully protesting.
They're criminally charging us for.
We have now in our bank, in our kitty, 5 criminal citations for doing this, for telling people that they matter. So again, we never know when Pontius and his team will arrive, but they do like to show up on the scene and crucify folks. That's what they like to do. So it could happen. We hope to see you all next week. If we don't, you know they came for us. So anyway,
Here it goes, folks. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value. I am the value. You are the value. We are the value.
God bless downtown. We hope to see you next week. Take care of yourselves.
And each other.